Joe in real life, squat every day, 112. My coffee, my cul-de-sac. This one's going to be a little bit of a downer, I think. I'm hoping to rescue it at the end, but I wanted to talk about Siddhartha Kara. I I just found out about this guy on the Joe Rogan Experience, and if you watch one podcast in 2023, watch the Siddhartha Kara one. And I know you're probably thinking, you're like, oh, a middle-aged white guy with a shaved head listens to Joe Rogan. What a shocker, right? Yeah, I do enjoy Joe Rogan. And I'm a little ashamed of that. So, so what? But Siddhartha Kara, man, it's a 2-hour talk where he discusses the human toll in the Congo of cobalt mining. And if you don't know, and I say this because I didn't know, I literally had no idea. Cobalt is used in the rechargeable batteries of all of our electronic devices. And demand for cobalt is going up. I'm going to walk across the grass today. It's going up. It's projected to go up fourfold over the next decade or two, with electric cars that need a lot of cobalt. And so what, right? Well, almost all the cobalt in the world comes from the Congo. And the conditions in these cobalt mines, just horrific. I don't want to detail it, but just imagine the worst thing that you can imagine, and it's worse than that. Like, and we're complicit, We're complicit in this, what's essentially slavery. It's essentially a slave trade. Today, Like, children are going to be buried alive in a cobalt mine this week. So that we can have these devices, so that we can have our electric cars. And that's so unbelievably shitty that I don't know what to do about it. And I don't know why I'm necessarily telling you this. It's been rattling around in my head for the last 72 hours. I watched it 3 days ago, and I can't stop thinking about it. It's on in my head, low grade, all day, every day. And I don't know what to, I cannot go to the Congo and rescue anyone. I can't stop these corporations from cobalt mining. I'm not sure I want to. I'm talking to you on a device that needs cobalt right now. We all depend on it. We depend on it in a way that is kind of unfathomable, And I know that I want to do something about it, but I don't know how and I don't know what. And so I thought maybe the first thing I could do is, in my own little way, boost that signal, Just, Siddhartha Kara has a book coming out about it. I intend to buy that book. I'll read it. We'll talk about it. When that happens, it's going to be a few weeks away. But also, here's something I was thinking. Okay, we can't stop cobalt mining. Even if there was, certainly as an individual I can't. But also as a society we can. We could improve the situation, but we can't stop it. And Jesus, even if we did stop it, that would devastate the Congo's economy. If we stopped cold turkey today, it probably wouldn't be as bad as what's happening. Or I don't know, it might even be worse. Think about the mass starvation. So anyway, here's my thought, right? How do we make it worthy of that? And I know that sounds kind of cold. And I don't mean that as a solution. But maybe we use these things in a way that's worthy of that human cost, or it will never be worthy of it. But moving towards worthiness, you know, like to not cheapen what real people with hearts, minds, and souls on this planet had to endure, so that I could talk to you into a phone recharged by cobalt. It's hard, man. It's hard. Like, I feel silly even talking about squats now. That said, I'm super sore and I got a squat today. It's day 112. Squat every day. I'm going to pull my sled. I'm going to do some front squats and probably rant a little bit more about Siddharth Akara, excuse me. Stay tuned. Some of you are probably thinking, whether you are willing to admit it out loud or not, you know, the world is full of horrors and monsters, and so what? It's always been that way. Probably always will be. You know? It's getting better, for sure, and I think the progressivism through time, it's on a mild increase, but an increase nonetheless, and that's worth thinking about. It's worth feeling positive about. And I mean, fair point, you know, that's definitely the case, or I believe it to be the case anyway. I don't know. I think one of the hardest things to do is admit your own powerlessness. I've always struggled with it, and truth be told, at least in my adult life, all of the serious problems I've ever had have been A, of my own authorship, and B, because I was unwilling to surrender. Alcoholism being the premier case in that study. Like, things got better when I admitted the situation was hopeless, not before. And this could be a situation like that. I certainly wouldn't be surprised if that was true. I guess then, what does surrender look like? Like, we all have these devices, we all depend on these devices, and we all enjoy these devices. So how do we make ourselves worthy of them? How do we use them in a way that enriches us and enriches the lives of the people around us? I don't know the answer to that question, but I'd like to find out. And it's worth exploring, you know? Like this YouTube channel is fun, and I enjoy it a lot, and I'm not going to stop. But what else can I do? How else can I make my life and the people around me and my community and my family's lives better via this insane magical technology that comes at a ghastly human cost? In the front squat today, I worked up to 150. I think 135 will be my minimum for the day when that happens. I'm throwing a little yoga in at the end of this video, and I want to just talk through it briefly. I think this is my top set for the front squat. Yeah, those are my stupid looking weights. 4 25s, 2 2.5s, 150. I just love the way that looks. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about it. I do a little pause in the bottom and it feels pretty good, and honestly my squats are stronger than ever. I know they're pitiful squats for many of you watching, but for me this represents some really, really good progress. Like, kind of insanely good progress. And I love squat every day, and I don't see any reason why I would ever quit. So next we have a little yoga bonus feature, and mostly I'm just exploring how I'm going to film my yoga when I do, and it won't be like this. But I'm basically showing you an alternative to Surya Namaskar A and B. Why an alternative? Well, for a lot of people it's too much, but also this is better for a weightlifter. So we're just starting in down dog, and what I did was I laid on the floor, I put my thumbs right around my nipples, and I pressed straight up into a plank. Then I push my sit bones to the ceiling, my heels to the floor. I rotate my biceps out, spread my fingers, and get into that position, you know? Then I roll in the plank. I'm holding these for about 30 seconds. You could use a timer, or you could do 10 slow inhale, exhales through the nose. You know, breathing rate varies person to person, so adjust as needed. And from here, we're just moving into up dog, right? Rolling over the toes, pressing the sternum forward, gaze forward or up, shoulder blades back, opening the front body, you know? And it's just those 3 simple movements. I like to repeat 3 times. I like to do it throughout the day. You're probably noticing I'm moving like shit. You're like, what? You're supposed to be a yoga teacher? Yeah, well, I'm really sore. I'm really sore, and this is herky-jerky biz. And that's it, just 3 movements. A nice little beginner option for Surya Namaskar A and B. Warm up. I ran out of time. I thought I could space that better. You know, I'm still learning how to make these things. But yeah, sorry to be a downer about the Cobalt Mines and Siddharth thing. It's just been rattling around in my head pretty much nonstop for the last 3 days. And I wanted to, I don't know, confess, voice my anguish and despair on the topic, and maybe reach out to you and see what you think about it. The yoga at the end, right? So I'm practicing filming so that this Sunday I'll have a yoga video for you. I'll probably do it in time lapse, and that won't be what it's going to look like, but those 3 postures will be part of it. So you have your down dog, heels down, sit bones up, fingers spread, biceps rolling counter, like kind of rolling out like this, you know. Create space in your scapulas as you see fit. When I'm teaching a class, I'm a little more hard-nosed about it. But for our purposes, for an individual practice, trust your body. Just move move them the way that it is the most comfortable, you know? And then a basic straight arm plank. Hold that for 30 seconds. You're probably wondering, why would I do a straight arm plank activating the midline before rolling into up dog, which stretches the midline? That seems counterintuitive. You're not wrong, but we're weightlifters, you know, or we're athletes in another capacity, and that firm midline is absolutely vital to getting a bar on your back. And you need range, you need space and movement in there, especially all of us on our phones. Thanks, Cobalt Mines. But all of us on our phones all the time, we're all hunched over them like this. We're all rounding forward all the time. So we want some exposure to a back bend. Even in the beginning of our practice, we want that. I like 3 rounds of that. If you do the breathing in and out through the nose, it's going to warm you up for real. The breathing takes a little practice, though, and we'll talk about that on Sunday. Anyway, this is Joe in real life. I love you guys. Be nice to each other today. I'm going to try hard to do the same. I'll see you tomorrow.